loss for Alderman Ray Lopez. He went up against incumbent Congressman Chuy Garcia for the Democratic nomination in the 4th District. We want to show you those numbers. Chuy Garcia easily winning early in the night, 69% of the vote. Right now, 92% of votes counted. Challenger Alderman Ray Lopez with 31% of the vote.
Yeah, this race not without some controversy. The Garcia campaign alleging that not only did the Lopez campaign bring food and drink to some polling places, allegedly also bringing envelopes stuffed with cash and demanding an investigation. This is a story, of course, we will continue to follow.
And Dane, Placko is live with Congressman Garcia's campaign. I'm sure there's a party already there, Dane.
Yeah, they've been partying here for about the past half hour. Congressman Garcia declaring victory a little bit after 8 o'clock, very early in the evening, but he had every right to. The numbers were very strongly in his favor. He is still here, as are many of his supporters, and a number of Hispanic state representatives and aldermen also celebrating here tonight. The congressman saying that a lot of people were questioning the progressive movement in Chicago, saying that the progressive movement had petered out, that it was no longer in favor. He spoke to that issue, saying essentially that this is a victory and also an affirmation of Chicago's progressive movement. Let's listen to that.
Tonight, we showed everyone across the country paying close attention to this race that hate and the right-wing attempt to hijack our movement will not succeed. That's right. What we've been doing for the past 40+ years, look around you, look in front of you, look on the side of me. It's a diverse coalition of leaders rooted in communities and advancing a progressive agenda for working families. That is our effort.
And as you mentioned, there was a bit of a campaign kerfuffle, you might call it. The Garcia campaign accusing his opponent, Alderman Raymond Lopez, Workers for Lopez, of handing out not just coffee and donuts at a polling place earlier today, which happens every year, every election cycle, but also handing out envelopes with cash. They didn't say how much, but the notion of handing out envelopes with cash, even if it was meant to provide food for workers, could be problematic. They say that they have reported it to the Chicago Board of Elections. His campaign manager, the congressman's campaign manager, telling me that it has now been kicked up to the Attorney General's office for further investigation. We're going to get a chance to talk to the congressman one-on-one here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to ask him about that, and we'll get his answer, his response to you a bit later in this newscast. Back to you.
All right, Dane, thanks for that. Meanwhile, Kasey, Chronis is live with the aforementioned Alderman Raymond Lopez. And Kasey, you have to wonder, he had a brief stint running for mayor. He's run for Congressman Garcia's seat. You wonder what's next for the 15th Ward Alderman.
That's right. His aspirations to attain a higher office have not yet been successful past being 15th Ward Alderman. But the Alderman tells us he's not done yet. While he hasn't announced future plans and a possible run for this seat again one day, he says right now he's going to take a break, but he certainly didn't count it out. Now, it's not the victorious night that Alderman Ray Lopez was hoping for. He called his campaign during a speech the little engine that could, and was optimistic that he had a chance and a shot at ousting U.S. Congressman Chuy Garcia. That, of course, not the case here tonight, with the vote coming in at about 70-30%, with Chuy winning the race tonight. Now, we heard from the 45-year-old 15th Ward Alderman just minutes ago. He is the first person to challenge Garcia in a primary for the 4th Congressional District seat. And while Garcia will be heading back to Congress after securing a 4th term, Lopez is returning to City Hall. The two Democratic candidates disagreed on many issues at stake, with Garcia the more progressive candidate and Lopez more middle of the road. Lopez, during his speech tonight, thanked his husband Hugo, his staff, and his supporters. He also says he tried giving Garcia a call tonight.
Tonight's outcome, not exactly what I think any of us wanted, which is why in true political class, as much as I've talked about bringing things back I did something that no one has ever done to me. I called to congratulate my congressman on his victory.
And Alderman Lopez is still here tonight, greeting and mingling with the supporters, about a few dozen of them who came here to the Twisted Shamrock pub on the city's southwest side near Midway, the neighborhood where Lopez was raised. Now, we do want to mention he did joke about that little kerfuffle that happened earlier today, asking the crowd when he came to the podium if anyone wanted donuts. Now, he did say that he provided donuts and coffee to election workers, but says that the rest of Garcia's team's claims were baseless. Back to you.
All right, Kasey, thank you.